Hi, welcome to the Mad Max channel. So, this here is a video about the aircraft carriers rework. Basically, what Wargaming have decided after looking at people like me who only have one single aircraft carrier, namely Enterprise, don't play this aircraft carriers simply because playing them is boring. The main issue behind it is you send a squad from here to there and launch the torpedoes and go back to aircraft carrying stuff like that. But basically, Wargame have gone, right, we need to adjust that. So, what they've done is given test servers, which is a second round of test servers, I believe, to test out the aircraft carriers and versus X different types of ships. Basically, you got tier 6s or you got tier 10s. That's aircraft carrier, cruiser, destroyer, and battleship tier 6. And then you have also the tier 10 variants as such to match it. They don't give you gold or lots of money, and there's no extension of flags or modules or captain skills to advance the AA range or firepower. Basically, they want to see what the planes can do as a baseline only. Which is a good idea, actually. It's a good way of testing it. But anyway, we'll get to it with two games. One being the Montana. And I personally do not play this ship. I've not actually decided to grind for it. It's a tier 10 battleship. It's big. It's typically American. It's got a good AA, so it would be a good standpoint to see what happens with aircraft attacking it. And obviously, Montana, if you have a tier 10 aircraft carrier going up against it, tier 10 aircraft carrier sometimes can and most likely will potentially sink it if it's on its own. And this is where obviously the Montana comes into play, or how the aircrafts come into play. And this video section is basically to show what happens if the Montana gives a broadside to a broadside cruiser. And yes, that's a paddling. Now, obviously, that's what the Montana can do. Ahead of me is a Yamato, which obviously is the tier 10 Japanese counterpart, but he is not my concern. My concern is I'm more or less alone over here, besides the cruiser and the destroyer, who may or may not still survive by the time the aircraft carrier goes, ooh, battleship. Defenseless. Let's attack them. Now, the new setup of the aircrafts are a lot different than previous. Previously, it was a case of you have like a God's view of the whole map. Basically, it's like a 3D version of the mini-map. You look down on the aircrafts, you click and send them, you select the targets, and the aircraft would go automatically to your target and do whatever you kind of order you're given. It's very different now. As an example, this guy here, he's just launched torpedoes at me, but he's launched them too close. So one of them's just gone past, and the other one's also just gone past, but also has a wide spread. The guy who's attacking me at the moment, his knowledge on being able to use torpedoes is about as good as mine, which is not great. I don't like playing aircraft carriers. I just don't. But I have, in the experiment of this year, actually done aircraft carrier, and I will admit it's actually more fun. Now, I will explain in a minute how come those torpedoes, two of them, have spread really wide. Basically, what they've decided to do, and it's a wise idea, because it means the aircrafts actually do have a bigger chance of actually hitting you, is instead of a whole strike force just dumping a load onto you, you can do, well, small squads. So say you launch 6 torpedo bombers out, that means you have 3 attempts of torpedoing someone. Basically, first 2 will do the torpedo run, the next 2 will do the torpedo run, and then the third set of 2 will do the torpedo run too. If they're still alive, that is. Obviously, it's not as simple as that, but we'll come to that one in a second, because obviously we want to see what happens when bombers go mess up a Montana. Now, like I say, If you decide to use a repair because of flooding and you have bombers coming or torpedo bombers coming, normally you would just have to worry about one single set. The system now makes that one less predictably fixable. Basically, because he can do multiple attack runs with the same squad, you know, 2 to 3 attack runs, it basically means that when you use the repair kit pretty early, chances are you can space out the attack runs long enough to do damage to you that will stick. And we'll see in a second exactly how punishing these aircrafts can be if you go, oh, this is going to hurt you more than me. So, we've got a single fire, it's not too tragic, but there is another squad of bombers coming. And yeah, we're losing a lot of health here. Burning 2 places, about 20,000 health just vanished. Whether it was the Yamato or the bomber squad penetrating through the armor is a different one. But because they can continuously attack and do separate squads, they could attack you. You might be silly enough to activate your repair, and then at the end of that repair, he might decide to attack you with the same set of aircraft. But here's another cool thing that comes into account, and that is that when one set of aircraft have actually attacked you, that set will head straight back to the aircraft carrier anyway, which means you're only flying the other 2 sets, or 1 set, depending on how many you got in the squad. So, by the way, I might as well point out, this is works in progress. Don't take this too seriously. As you can see here, there's a bug. And I do hope Wargaming actually noticed that one. There is a couple of little small bugs, but more on that in a second. Right, so I am in a tier 6 Japanese aircraft carrier, Raijo. And like I say, I don't do particularly aircraft carriers very often, but this here is the view of your new aircrafts. No bird's eye view looking down like God, but you basically abandon the aircraft carrier to the mercy of the sea. Whether you put the parking brake on or not is a different one. And you have your aircraft squadrons, which turn up like this. So, as you can see, there's 6 aircrafts in total. That makes 3 attack runs. Obviously, if you lose aircraft on the way, so just say you only have 3 aircraft, that means you still technically got 2 attempts to do it. But we'll make that one more obvious in a minute. So, obviously, we're going to pick the biggest fish we can. And these guys here are actually the fighters. How to get them to fight other aircraft, that's beyond me. But what I do know is how to use their missiles. Yes, you heard that right. Fighters have missiles on them. So you might see that circle on the ground. We're going to use that. So, we got the target on and launch missiles. And we have a hit. Brilliant. Now, what I did not know at that very point is that I still had another 2 attack runs. So I've sent them fighters back to the aircraft carrier. But never mind. Let's use torpedo bombers. Oh, by the way, mouse steers them, as well as the AD buttons. Normally, in the previous part, you would have the configuration that the AD and all that would change the aircraft carrier, but it doesn't. You actually literally have to go to the aircraft carrier. So you can't just control the aircraft carrier while you're sending planes around. No. Doesn't quite work like that. Or at least not that I've seen so far. So when you got planes in the air, you can't control the aircraft carrier. As far as I can tell. I could be wrong with that. The AD and all that just changes the rudders on the planes. So we're going to pick a fight with the Fuso. Not exactly known for being the best in anti-air defense, so we're going to pick her first. Right, so we can see we have the possibility of 3 full strikes. Well, 3 strikes that we can do. Right, big triangle, small triangle. Small triangle is the arm section. If you fire a ship, well, basically like that there, if that ship was moving towards it, torpedoes wouldn't arm. There's an arming range on it, but because the ship is going away from it, it doesn't matter too much. If you're attacking the side of the ship, obviously you don't want to be inside that small box. You want to be outside of it. So it's like pretty much as soon as you get to it, you'll notice that one of those torpedoes will actually just pass straight through it. Simply because I was too close and it was not armed. As you can see, we have the last strike, which I've messed up majorly. And very debatable how much longer these fighters will be able to fly. Right, last attempt to do a shot. The wingman's on fire. He's probably not going to last. He's not. And fire. We might have just been out. No. Too close. Right, okay. Attempt again. How hard could it be to do a torpedo bomb run? Actually, let's bomb. So, bombers. They happen to be my last favorite aircraft, and it was my last favorite aircraft to use in the standard version of the aircraft carriers. Why? I don't know. It's because they have a terrible habit of missing, I guess. But what I don't particularly like on them is the camera angle they pick when they're doing the dive bomb. You will see what I mean at certain points. Obviously, following the aircrafts gives you an idea of traveling distances. Obviously, in this case, there's 4 aircraft, so there's only 2 squads. 2 attempts you can do with it. As before, circle down there. You get another circle, which is the bombing one, and you'll notice there's an aim section behind it. And I aimed too early. Let's try this again. Go with the next squad. And we have a hit. Okie dokie. So that's how that one works. Torpedoing all depends on whether I get that triangle to be outside so the torpedo's arm can explode. Right, let's try torpedoes again. Obviously, it's not the most entertaining thing in the world to see, but there we are. Now, this battle took quite some time, and this is a prime example of the frustration and reason why I prefer this being on a ship. But, yet again, this does make it more interesting to play by quite a lot. Right, let's try again with attack number 1 from 3, depending on how long these aircrafts last. So, see that triangle getting closer? Don't get me wrong, I was quite close with that. If I had gone wider, oh, well, correction, we were more than close enough. We've hit. He's probably doing a turn, and I've put too much of a spread, but it shouldn't be too bad anyway. That guy's been torpedoed from each direction. Yeah, if I'd gone even wider with those torpedoes, I would have been better off. Last attempt, possibly on double run here. This is where we've probably gone too wide again. But it's an improvement. Those torpedoes were armed. At the moment, but point score is we're winning by not much. Right, we're going to do a bombing run because the Fuso's hiding in smoke on the New Mexico. Obviously, American, AE better. Alright, and this is where I'm not a big fan of the aiming thing. It gets a bit too narrow with the aim. Plus the timing. If you happen to be too far from your ship you'd plan to hit by even a second, it could return back from it. So they need a little bit more time on that one. But by rights, it's basically fine. So, yeah. Tell the New Mexico has a vastly better firepower. This plane's not going to get the bomb there. Nope. But we've hit it. That's a bonus. Bit of a camera bug being able to see inside the ship, which is no actual model inside of it. Right, let's use torpedo bombers. We're definitely losing now. We got 3 squadrons. How hard could it be to hit a cruiser? Actually, battleship. Where did he come from? Never mind. It was very much a just. Obviously, you know, if you have a whole strike force and you fight a whole load of torpedoes, you could lose all opportunities of doing a single hit. But like this here, you get multiple chances. Even so, it's basically like higher reload but lower DPM potentiality. On that occasion, yeah, I just didn't give enough lead for the torpedoes. He said, except for I've hit. That's perfectly fine. Now let's head towards a cruiser now, an actual cruiser this time around. And yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get there. Okay. Note to mark, torpedoes are not particularly, well, fast enough to deal with cruisers occasionally. Right, time to use the rocket, boys. Destroyer is trying to take our cap. So obviously, yes, this whole lot is all just completely and utterly work in progress. There were certain things that stood out that needed fixing bug-wise. Camera bugs being one of the main ones that I can particularly think of. Also, for some weird reason, and it could just be my imagination, frame rate was a bit wonky. But I have a distinct feeling that when it comes to flak from the guns, that they're more intense. Right, let's get this red. Cool. Nope. Not enough lead again. again. Try to play. He's struggling to hit these guys. Nope. Enemy aircraft carriers are now sending their stuff to us. This is bad news. Abandoned ship. In theory. Eventually we're going to be able to hit something. And this is what I mean with the camera angles just too close. Aircraft are basically hiding behind it. I would like it to stay out a little more. That's my personal only thing that I'm not a big fan of.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
Let's try again. Nope, too far again.
The enemy team has taken the lead.
Yeah, you might understand what I mean with that. It's a lot harder to guess than you would automatically think. So I'll go, oh, sod this. That will just fight too long. There's a low health cruiser. How hard could it be to take him out? Well, there's a Mexico and a American cruiser next to each other, so yeah, no exactly hopes on that one. And that was a case of absolutely no hope. Right, okay, torpedoes again. Looking at my teammate, he's also still struggling to hit the destroyer. Whether it's this our skills or not, that's a different one. But oh, by the way, like I was saying with the flak, it's well cool flying around with it. So let's do a torpedo run on a cruiser. How hard could it be? Yep. Too much of a spread. It's basically in between the two.
Torpedoes dead ahead.
And he's AA's stripping my last squadron to pieces. And yeah, we're way too close. That was expected.
We're hull below the waterline. We're flooding quickly.
And well, we defended the flag, but we did next to no damage because that guy didn't exactly have a lot of health left. Enemy aircraft carriers finally hit me with a set of torpedoes. I'm flooding. The game's nearly all over. And you're probably saying to yourself, I'm glad too. When is this coming to end? Well, you'd be happy to know it's coming to an end very soon. Because they're going to win. So, what do I think of the redesign of the aircraft carriers? I really like it. There's bugs that needs working. Obviously, it's work in progress. But I really like it. So, on that note, I would like to say thank you very much for watching. Do like and subscribe. I'm very sure Wargaming will have updates and other video pieces about aircraft tests and stuff like that. it is still maybe potentially possible to get yourself into the access of it, but not guaranteed. But yes, I'd say thank you very much, Wargaming, for giving me the opportunity to do that. And I do hope you found this video entertaining, even though potentially slightly boring watching someone hopelessly attempting to attack a destroyer. But yes. So, yes, again, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Cheerio.